Alright, finally, I'm doing the Q&A. First, I need to get out of the way. I need to properly thank everyone for 5,000 subscribers. I was planning on making like a whole video, but it just kind of fell through and I put it off, and I also like didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had a few ideas and then I just didn't like them. That's a whole other story for another time. I don't want to drag this out too much. But yeah, so thank you everybody. It's kind of crazy, kind of scary, just a little bit. You know, you think 5,000 and it's like, oh, that's nothing compared to people with millions, but it's like 5,000 people in this room right now. Like, imagining that, I think we'd all suffocate. So yeah, that's pretty neat. You know, it's been really cool so far. I mean, it just feels like yesterday I hit 500. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. Now on to the questions. Firstly, this wasn't a question, but it was on the community post I made. So, this person says, please come back. Well, I never did leave. I mean, I'm still lurking around on YouTube. I mean, if you know where to look, you know where to find me. You know, if you comment, I'll probably reply. I might not, you know, sometimes comments, especially when you have a long kind of chain of replies, sometimes they'll get kind of lost in the mix, but you can just comment and I'll reply. So I haven't really gone anywhere. But as far as videos go, I mean, I just haven't really had anything I really wanted to do, and then the things I tried to do, it just didn't work out. I've also been pretty hardcore into playing The Sims 2 lately. That's kind of been my new obsession. Yeah. If anyone wants to hear me yap about that, let me know. If you really want a video, because yeah, I've been pretty preoccupied with that. Not to say that I'm giving up guitar completely, but when I find something I like, you know, I've said previously, you know, I'm just all in hardcore. You know, I tend to only really be able to focus on one thing. So, you know, in a few months, I'll probably end up just like getting so sick of the game I can't even play it anymore. So, you know, then I'll have to, you know, fill my space with something else. That's kind of my explanation for it, really. I've just been kind of busy with that. Not really busy, I mean, it's kind of just a waste of time. But it's a very fun game. Highly recommend. I've also been playing the original Sims game too, and it's hard. Very hard compared to the others. But yeah, that's kind of been my new fixation lately. So obviously, I have to go out and I have to consume a bunch of media about that, read a bunch about it, play it all the time, all the free time I have, you know, watch all of the video documentaries on YouTube. You know, I can't like anything casually. So, now I have a bunch of knowledge. But anyways, let's move on to the actual questions. First question is, and I'm reading them off here, by the way. Do you watch Stranger Things? And if you do, what do you think of the new season coming out? Are you excited? I've not watched Stranger Things. I don't know, it's just never interested me. Like, I remember when it came out, I was like 8 or 9, and people were like obsessed with it. I remember thinking, I was like, is this really worth all the hype? But honestly, I'm not really into TV shows in general. It's hard for me to find something I actually do think is interesting, so, you know, yeah. But no, I didn't even know Stranger Things had a new season coming out. I mean, what season are they on now? I don't even know. But yeah, no, I've never watched it, and I don't really plan to. All right, next question is, have you ever thought about doing more full song covers? Yes, I have. They're just very difficult for me to do. Even if it's the most like simple song on the planet that I've played a billion times and I never mess up on, once I turn on the camera and try to record, all that just flies out the window. And I just end up like screwing up over and over, and it's like hours long process. This also happens to me with the shorts, but obviously it's easier to not mess up in like a 60-second video than a full song, so it's very annoying, and I just can't seem to shake it, even though I've been like consistently recording myself for like 2 years at this point. with my channel. And you know, some of it might also be my perfectionism, like even if it's a really tiny minuscule mistake, sometimes I'm just like, no, I cannot leave this in, I have to get it 100%, and it's like barely ever possible. Also, the way in which I manage to actually record my guitar and stuff is also really difficult to work with. My amp has like a USB port, so I plug that in. Then I plug the USB straight into my phone or my iPad. Then I can go into GarageBand or whatever to record, but for some reason it sounds like really awful majority of the time. Like I have to do so much adjusting to the tone to get it to sound decent. And the audio gets like maxed out and like really trebly, even though my actual volume is very, very low. I don't know how to describe it. It's weird. And then trying to make it sound correct with the like original track is just as bad. Maybe these are just excuses. I've contemplated getting some better gear to record, but I don't really know if I'm willing to sink the money in. Plus, I'm just so clueless when it comes to this type of stuff. So yeah, that's basically the long and drug out answer. All right, next question is, could you do a full bass cover of Come Back by Misfits, Please? Well, as I just said, I kind of stopped doing the full covers as of now, but that is a song I really do adore, especially playing it on bass, so I will try to do a short playing it soon. I might need to freshen myself up on how to play it, because I haven't played it in a while. I'm not against a full cover either if I find a better way to record them. It just might take me a while. I'm not even kidding, it's like an all-day affair to record a full cover. All right, and the last question from this person is, what are your top 3 favorite bands of all time, and what is your favorite song and your favorite album? Can't wait to see more vids, and you're my favorite YouTuber. Well, first, that is truly an honor. Thank you very much. These are really hard questions for sure. I might have answered them in the past, but since my favorites change so often, it's still worth answering. All right, so the words of all time basically to me mean like the most impactful, most influential. These are not necessarily my top favorites right now, but have kind of shaped my music taste and guitar playing. If that's not what you mean by all time, I do apologize, but that's how I kind of make my decision. All right, so first, I know for certain that one of my favorite bands of all time will always remain Hole. I love Courtney Love. I love all of their albums. The songs have helped me through hard times and still continue to be very cathartic. Hole is literally one of the only bands that I have never gotten tired or bored of. I can listen to them at any time and the songs hit just as hard as they did on the first listen. All right, these two were a little harder for me to pick. But I'll probably have to say for number 2, it's gonna be Sam Hain. Shocker. My playing and style has been hugely influenced by Sam Hain. Really all of Danzig's bands, but Sam Hain remains to me the most unique, I think, along with just being my favorite out of the 3. There's nothing out there quite like Sam Hain, and I enjoy every single song and album. All right, last band is really difficult, and I'm really bad with people asking my favorite things because it's like, I don't want to give the wrong answer. Like, I need to actually make sure this is genuinely my favorite. I'm gonna go off on kind of a limb here, and I'm gonna say DRI. Now, honestly, I haven't listened to DRI in a hot minute, but they really had a big impact on me for sure, and still remain one of those bands who I love every single song and album from. Mixing the metal and the punk elements also, which is kind of perfect for me. I think it's been around 2 years at this point since I started listening to them, and they actually got me to go deeper into punk as well. Honestly, 3 is just not enough for me. There's so many bands I hold dearly, and again, my answers to questions like these are always changing. But I'm just gonna have to like stop my overthinking and just give you an answer. All right, 1 question down. Now, my favorite song and my favorite album. Oh man, this is torture. Okay, you didn't say of all time, so I'm just gonna go with what my current favorites are. My leg is bleeding. Why is my knee bleeding? What? How did I do that? I just went down to scratch my knee, and now it's bleeding. I've got to finish this video first, because if I get up and get something, I won't finish the video. So, let's just hope I don't stain the carpet. All right, where was I? Favorite song and favorite album. So, okay, what I was saying was, you didn't specify of all time, so I'm gonna go off of what currently are my favorites. So my favorite album right now, it's probably gotta be Only Theater of Pain by Christian Death. And I think my favorite song is probably gonna be off that album too, and that song is Spiritual Cramp. It's really good, I'll go with that for now. Alright, next question is, do you lean more left or right politically? This one was kind of random, I was not expecting, but I guess I asked for questions and I got them. I don't really like to discuss politics and stuff like that because we hear enough of it constantly. And also, I still can't vote, so I mean, I don't even know if my opinion really matters in that case. But if you really want to know, I hate all sides. I hate all politicians. I hate it all. Like, they're just so creepy to me. Like, it's revolting listening to them talk. Like, I don't know what it is. And like, I refuse to believe that some boomer cajillionaire really cares about us. Like, all politics have done are just divide us all and create unnecessary fear over stuff that isn't actually as big of a deal, and like turned people into hostile news junkies. Like, I don't know. I truly don't see how someone could believe that the people in charge really have our best interest in mind, because it's kind of obvious that they don't. And like, no matter which side even wins elections, we're like screwed either way. I mean, the world has already fallen apart at this point. Can't the sun just explode a little bit quicker or something? Like, please. I don't know. And that doesn't mean I don't have certain opinions and views on certain things, but I kind of identify with those separately instead of necessarily taking one side or another. So yeah, that's how I feel. You can have whatever opinions you want. Neither of us are really any more right or wrong than the other. So, I mean, if we just have like basic respect for one another, you know, we can all coexist and not have to think the same. You know, I don't know, maybe my takes are kind of adolescent, but yeah. All right, next question is, would music be something you would ever pursue as a career or side hustle at some point? Another one I might have answered previously, I'm not quite sure, but I'll still answer it. I'd love to, and it sounds good in theory, but I don't know, I don't want to keep my hopes too high because I feel like it's not possible. Not only because of like the state of the music industry currently, but like also my own perfectionism. I've never once finished any song I've written because I just don't think it's good enough. I know it's my own self who's sabotaging me, but I also don't really know how to stop it. However, I also have no other path in life I aspire to go. Like, it's kind of a little scary now, but I have like absolutely no clue what I want to do. Also, if I were to pursue something in music, I'd be afraid that making my hobby a job would kind of ruin it for me. Like, then it would feel like some sort of like obligation, and I'm afraid that would like in turn make me not want to play anymore. This might sound kind of silly, but like, the second there's any kind of pressure or demand on something I enjoy doing, it suddenly feels impossible and like overwhelming for me to do. Like, that's why I really can't like make myself practice playing guitar, because then it feels like I have to go and pick it up instead of I want to. Yes, this does adversely affect me in many other areas of my life. Does that make any sense? I kind of just jumped all over the place there. I don't know, but yeah, I'm really unsure. I'm unsure of a lot of things. For whatever reason, I'm just like physically incapable of imagining my future. Like, ask me where I think I'll be in 5 years, no clue. All right, next question is, what kind of weather do you like? That's a good one. See, I used to be a like die-hard cold weather person because I was always like too hot for whatever reason. Like, my face would get hot. I get really hot in my face, and it was awful. I don't know what was going on with me. You know, I used to like back the whole argument of like, well, you can layer on as many clothes if you want, but you can only take off so much if it's hot, you know? But now I've done like a full 180 and I'm like constantly freezing cold for whatever reason. Clothes don't even help. Like, I'm talking, my fingernails are turning purple when I walk near the freezer section in the grocery store type freezing. If it's like below 75 degrees, it's too cold for me. So now I much rather prefer summer. Yes, it gets miserably hot, but honestly, I've found that being freezing cold is a way worse feeling. Like, it's physically painful to me. If you ever see me in public, I'm probably walking around like this trying to conserve the little body heat I have, because they keep it so darn cold in like stores and restaurants. Dude, I walked into a Chick-fil-A the other day. You know, we took a little road trip with my cousins and my sister, and they had to stop for food. And I already hate doing that. It's like, please, just drive. I want to get there. In this Chick-fil-A, I kid you not, it had to have been like 32 degrees in there. It was freezing cold. I had to step out, and I was like freezing for like an hour after, maybe an hour and a half. Like I couldn't even like get my temperature back to normal. It was so bad. I really wish I lived in a place where the only seasons were like scorching hot and like just a little less hot. That would be the perfect climate for me. All right, next question. Is punk your go-to music now? I don't know. I bounce around between all kinds of different stuff, and there's so much I've still yet to listen to. Sometimes I'll go on binges of only a certain genre, or even just like a certain band's like whole discography, only to get burnt out after all that and move on to something else. And then I'll probably revisit it after a while and the cycle repeats. I do love punk, that's for sure, and I listen to it a lot. And it's also mostly what I play on guitar and post shorts of, because simply that's really all I can play decently for the most part. But I listen to, or at least try to listen to, a lot more than just punk. Actually, currently I have been discovering and listening to more like goth and post-punk stuff lately. So that's really all I've been listening to as of the past like month maybe. It actually started because of that 3-day-long migraine I had a while ago, and I couldn't listen to music because it would make my head hurt worse, and I thought I was gonna lose it. Like, I can't go one day without listening to at least one song. Like, that's the only thing keeping me sane. So, in desperation, during the longest 3 days of my life, I thought, why don't I try something more laid back? And there's been a good amount of people recommending me to listen to more of that stuff. So, you know, I knew it would be, you know, a bit more laid back, more like sparkly guitar riffs, probably a bit slower. So that was my solution, and it worked, and now I have a new genres of music unlocked. Maybe I need headaches more often. So yeah, that was like a really unnecessary long story, but I don't, or at least I try not to have like a concrete go-to genre, because I need to have variety to not get bored. As much as I love predictability and hate changing things up, I have to in order to keep myself interested when it comes to music. I know I'm very contradictory to myself. Next is, have you ever thought about writing your own songs? I do, periodically. I have lots of lyrics written down, typed down, all over the place. Some are more complete songs, then there's just like random notes I have with a word I thought sounded cool, or like a song title idea. But again, like I said, I never feel like anything I write is good enough. I also have trouble coming up with like an actual vocal melody and matching up my lyrics to a riff, because I hate how I sound singing. And I also think that sometimes my lyrics are just kind of ripping off the style of another band, or they're just too literal and on the nose, or whatever other criticism my mind comes up with. But yeah, short answer, I do write songs, but I usually end up hating them and don't feel confident enough to share. But I am trying. I really do want to put my own music out there, but I don't know. I keep saying one day, but then time goes on, and that one day has not appeared yet. All right, next, how did you used to edit when you were little? Because I'm going to make a video tomorrow. What did you use? So this was on another video where I talked about how I've been making and editing my own videos since I was a little kid. And I wanted to answer it here so I could be more in depth. I hope that's okay. When I was younger, I just used the good old iMovie, and that's still a great way to edit if you have an Apple device. It's free and it's simple to use. However, now I use a mixture of a few different apps. So I do it all on my phone because that's just what I'm used to, and you know, I have a laptop, but I just don't really care to use it. And I'm the master of workarounds to avoid having to pay anything. So for a while, I used a combination of this app called Villo, I don't really know how you say it, and then an app called Splice. They both had some things locked behind a subscription, but with VLLO, you could actually watch an ad to use a paid feature. So I'd often use Splice to actually edit and cut parts of the video because its like interface was easier to use. Then if I wanted to add something like music, I'd go over to Villo and do that. But then both apps started to get greedy and locked more things behind a paywall, so I had to find something else. Currently, I use an app called VN. It seems to be more geared towards editing stuff like Instagram stories or something, but it works just fine for regular videos. Almost everything is free. Actually, all the things that I need to use are completely free. It does give you a limit of projects, but the amount is 100, which is already quite high to begin with. Though I've also found that if you just delete a project, it will give you that space back. So I just delete the videos that I've finished and posted, so I never run out. It's not quite as like modern looking or smooth to use as the previous apps. You know, it's a learning curve to figure out how it worked, but it's not too hard and, you know, it's nice. So yeah, that's what I do currently. My editing is very minimal though, and I prefer it that way, but I just sometimes need to edit out the awkward like silence of me getting distracted and stuff like that. All right, lastly, what is your favorite guitar brand / model? Honestly, I don't really have one. Like, they're so expensive, it's just like, I'll take whatever I can get, you know? I'm not picky, with guitars at least. So yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really have a more interesting answer for that. And that concludes the questions. If you want to ask another question, you can in the comments or wherever you want to put it. I'm not planning to do another one of these, but if I get a bunch of questions, then maybe I will. So yeah, and also let me know, you know, what videos you want to see next. If you mind more kind of yapping random videos, because I have a lot of random thoughts in my head, you know. If you would find me talking about other interests besides guitar interesting as well, then, you know, let me know. And just, yeah, that's basically all. And also, rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne. That is wild. I can't believe that. Dude, I thought he was immortal. I'm at least glad that I was able to live in the same timeline as him for some time, you know? And thank you all for watching and doing whatever you do on the YouTube.